Welcome, I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, President Muhammad Buhari declares tenure elongation of APC national leaders unconstitutional and illegal. Senate begins fresh process to amend 2010 Electoral Act following President's refusal to assent to the document. Less than 1 year to the 2019 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says about 7 million eligible voters are yet to register for the exercise, while 7.9 million are fully registered. An angry residents protest in Russia's city of Kemerovo following deadly fire incident that killed at least 41 children in a mall.
On business news tonight, Federation Accounts Allocation Committee meeting ends in deadlock over revenue discrepancy from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation.
On sports news, Alexander Mitrovic scores twice as Serbia defeat Nigeria in their second pre-2018 World Cup friendly in London.
That's right, and from Abuja, less than 1 year to the 2019 general elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says about 7 million eligible voters are yet to register for the exercise, while 7.9 million are fully registered.
We begin tonight with the President's rejection of the extension of the tenure of the National Executive of the All Progressives Congress and others elected state officials on the grounds that it is unconstitutional. The President told members of the National Executive Committee of the party in Abuja that he took the decision after due consultations because the resolution of the February the 27th NEC meeting contravened Article 17, subsection 1 of the party's constitution, which recommends a 4-year tenure for all elected officials. President Buhari further adds that the extension also contravened Section 223 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, which prescribes periodic elections for party executives at regular intervals, which must not exceed 4 years.
It is another meeting of the National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress. One after another, some state governors and other members of the committee arrive the venue. The President's arrival signals the commencement of the meeting, and without mincing words, the President reacts to the tenure elongation of the national chairman of the party and other elected state party officials.
While the APC Constitution in Article 17, in bracket 1 and 13.2, bracket B, limits the tenure of elected officers to 4 years, renewable once by another election. The 1999 Constitution of Nigeria is amended in Section 223, also prescribes periodic elections for party executives at regular intervals, which must not exceed 4 years.
Beyond declaring the tenure elongation unconstitutional, President Buhari speaks on the way forward.
In this circumstance, what is expected of us is to conduct fresh elections once the tenure of the current executives approaches its end.
At the end of the meeting, which continued behind closed doors, the National Publicity Secretary of the party and the Governor of Kogi State addressed the press on the outcome of the meeting.
The NEC decided to set up a small team to advise the party on the way forward on this matter.
In view of certain crises within the rank and file of the party, and considering the time limit between now and when we'll be facing the general elections, it is expedient that we ask the current NWC and the current executive committees at all levels to continue to act in that capacity for a period of 12 months.
As the All Progressives Congress attempts to put its house in order ahead of the 2019 general elections, healing divides within the party, as recommended by President Muhammadu Buhari, appears to be the party's best course in pursuit of victory in 2019.
The ruling APC has seen some very turbulent past months in its leadership affairs, but it appears the party's troubles have a history. Now, the party is in a dilemma of some sorts, as the future of the party still hangs in the balance. In this next report, our political correspondent, Seun Okinbaloye, highlights some very interesting events since the Oyegun-led APC journey began.
We have undertaken
June 13, 2014. That was when the journey all began.
That is the spirit that is going to propel us to Asura.
The emergence of John Oyegun as the national chairman of the young party at the time, the All Progressives Congress APC, was a brainchild of the merger of some political parties at the time. The contest was intense for the top job of the party, as the interim national chairman, Bisi Akande's time was both spent and exhausted.
That just as on Saturday,
the story of how a former governor of Lagos State, Bola Tinubu, rooted for Chief Oyegun, was but an open secret. Shortly, the talks of their fallout was difficult to keep hush-hush. The new leadership with Mr. Oyegun at the helm of affairs had a major first task of conducting a national convention. First, they had a mini convention and then a presidential primary where Muhammadu Buhari emerged as the party's flag bearer.
Thank you very much. I will wish you all the very best.
After the election, a few changes were made in the national executive of the party. Like the spokesperson, Lai Mohammed, who graduated to becoming the spokesperson of government, and it was replaced by another man from the North Central state of Kwara, Bolaji Abdullahi, in the executive of the party. Truly, the APC leadership has seen a misgrill in the running of the affairs of the party. With a possible end of tenure of the Oyegun-led executive, which expires on the 13th of June this year, interestingly and controversially too, the NEC of the party agreed to extend their tenure.
The NEC has decided to extend the tenure of the current NWC and other executive committees at various levels.
And that caused a major hit within the party. That decision was also going to impact on the leadership of the party across the states. With an obvious crack and split in the party, and then the reconciliation move led by Bola Tinubu, it raises a lot of issues. The legal angle, the political side, and the moral issue, as some leaders of the party are angry. Today, the president now threw a bombshell.
Our decision is contrary to both the party and the constitutional position.
It kicks against the tenure elongation. The die is now cast. Seun Okinbaloye, Channels Television News.
For a broader perspective on this, I'm being joined by Rotimi Ogunwusi, a senior advocate of Nigeria. He joins me from our Abuja studios. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us at this time. Let me start by asking you this question. Do you think that the APC party failed to consider the legality or otherwise in considering the party's constitution and the Nigerian constitution in this light of developments happening?
I think they did not consider the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the constitution of the party before they took that decision for tenure elongation. Because if you look at it critically, no party exists without the Nigerian constitution. And the Nigerian constitution says you must pursue the issue of democracy. And the party constitution, we takes its life from the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, specifically says that the constitution is supreme. It is that constitution that created offices and also the organs of the party. And that constitution also specifies a tenure. So, if the organs of the party, the offices of the party have been created by the constitution and the tenure has been specified. It goes without saying that they must consider the provisions of the constitution of the party before embarking on that step of saying elongation. Because if you look at the provisions of the APC constitution, there's nothing there which permits tenure elongation. And in any event, once your tenure finishes or expires, you have to go. And what the constitution says is you must either have been elected or appointed for a period of 4 years. Now, the people whose tenure expired in June, after the expiration of 4 years, on what leg will they be standing on? You don't put something on nothing. So
let me come in here, if you just allow me to butt in. Some say that this is indeed political, considering the condemnation and vote of no confidence by some groups in the north on the president in the build-up to 2019. Do you share that same view?
No, I don't get that question.
Yes, I was just asking you that some people have argued that this is indeed political, considering the comments and the no vote of confidence by some groups in the north. Do you share this same view?
Well, you see, when politicians do their thing, they have their considerations. But when I, as a lawyer, I will just look at it strictly from the legal point of view. Because at the end of the day, whether you call it a political consideration to reach the decision or a political consideration to reverse it, you must look at the legality. I think what the president has just done is akin to, in my view, to a man, quote and unquote. When I use the word man, I'm using it for the party, who finds himself in a pit. The golden rule is to stop digging. And what the president has done is akin to stopping the digging, having found the party in a pit, as it were.
Obviously, the party it's split along some difficult, turbulent lines, as our political correspondent, Sheol Kimberley, did highlight in that report. But what do you think must be done by the APC in the light of the so many divisions that we see in the party? In your view, what must be done at this time and in this kind of situation by the party?
Well, the party will find a way. Should quickly find a way of pulling itself together, talking to aggrieved members if they could be talked to, and finding a way out of the present quagmire. Because the issue of tenure elongation, as far as I'm concerned, is a way of trying to avoid a problem which was there, staring it in the face. And some people are waiting in the wings to mightily profit from such, from what I would describe as indiscretion and illegality by the party, because you never know where this thing will end, particularly in a situation like ours, where politicians throw in anything and everything when they are aggrieved, whether rightly or wrongly. So, because as far as I'm concerned, whatever that the organ that is existing illegally now does, whether it conducts primaries or it conducts convention, it will be challenged, and most likely it will be challenged successfully.
I do appreciate your time for talking to us here on the news at 10. Mr. Rotimi Ogunwusi is the senior advocate of Nigeria. Many thanks indeed for your time and your thoughts. In part 2, after the break, Delta State government takes voter registration campaign to the markets as All Progressives Congress in the state calls for one man, one vote ahead of 2019 general election.